Or not.
Here we go. Gather round, munchkins.
Yes. Tales of merriment.
Of adventure, excitement, and really wild times.
That's right. Strange creatures.
Bigfoot. Unknown, undiscovered, unexisting. Maybe. Who knows? Who can say for sure what's going on with the large-footed one?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Nope. Not a clue.
Chris doesn't know, ladies and gentlemen.
Nope.
He's a man that usually knows stuff, so I'm genuinely surprised to hear that.
Well, when it comes to this, not so much. I don't think so, anyway.
I think Bigfoot's like Swamp Thing, just jumps up out of the marshes. It's like, blah, and then vanishes again.
Like Swamp Thing, huh?
Swamp Thing. You make my heart sing.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory.
I always liked the Swamp Thing comics.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that really terrible movie they made?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's awful.
And yes, it is awful.
It's campy. I mean, it's awful enough to be good, but still awful.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, that gets 2 thumbs down. Richard does not recommend that film.
Yeah. Swamp Thing, what'd they make that in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so into it when it came out, when I saw it. If I went back and watched that now, I'd want to beat the younger version of myself.
Hard.
Just
be like, no.
Yes. Why did you like that?
Which one was worse, do you think? Swamp Thing or Spawn?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
You might as well flip a coin. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. You'd have to give me more time to think about that one.
I'll give you more time. All right. So shall we do this then?
Sure, let's go.
Let's go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Squatchable podcast, where we take a look at the week in Bigfoot news. Joining me, as always, from the 40-inch slip, Chris York. Chris, how are you?
Wonderful.
Had a good week?
It's been a little exhausting, but yeah, all in all.
All in all. Still alive, so can't complain.
Exactly.
If you enjoy the 40-inch slip power breakdown of Bigfoot Crossroads, you may enjoy the badly drawn misadventures of 2 Bigfoot. Head on over to Bigfoot with Keith and Colin on Facebook. Next week, there will be no new tunes, I think. I'm taking a week off, but we'll return the week after. Without further ado, I am your host, Richard Allen, and let's just jump into it. Our first story comes from the SS Times. It's called Whales of the Bigfoot Part 2. The BFRO, the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, monitors Bigfoot/Sasquatch sightings across the county. The indisputed facts centering around these sightings and encounters are: it's a fact for more than 400 years, people have reported seeing large, hair-covered, man-like animals in the wilderness areas of North America. It's a fact that sightings of these animals continue today. It's a fact that for over 70 years, people have been finding, photographing, and casting sets of very large human-shaped tracks. Most are discovered by chance in remote areas. These tracks continue to be found to this day. That's true. All of those are facts. They're not like usual BFRO facts that someone's just clearly invented. These are actual facts. Apparently, Indiana is not immune to this. The BFRO is one of several internet databases logging in sightings and encounters throughout the state. Obviously, if one does not make a report, then there is no record for that particular area. The BFRO's latest sightings in the Hoosier state were for 2012 and 2015. Did they all just go away? No, I don't believe there was a lag in sightings, only ones in reporting. Predominantly, the majority of sightings in Indiana involved the heavily wooded areas of southern Indiana. Spring and fall are a hot time for reports. Brown County and Monroe County had the most reported sightings among all of the counties in the state. However, there are exceptions with sparse sightings in the Donut County surrounding Marion County. And yet, these were years ago. Remote wooded sites with a lake can be preferred ground for a picky Bigfoot on the move. It's a fact that the cultural histories of many Native American and First Nation peoples include stories and beliefs about non-human peoples of the wild. These descriptions bear a striking resemblance to the hairy man-like creatures reported today. Past sightings in Indiana are numerous, including Clay County's Brazil in 2001, Park County with stories dating back to the 1940s. Something in the trees around Crosley State Fish and Wildlife Area since the mid-2000s, a Nevada sighting in 2002, a Yellowwood Lake in the Yellowwood State Forest, and a 2015 continued Putnam County sightings. Yet in March 2019, three friends camping near Turkey Run State Park, located in Park County, witnessed at least 8-foot hairy large frame creature hitting a tree with a piece of wood. They watched from the safety of their camp at 80 to 100 feet away. They claimed his eyes shone like a light. The creature finally stopped the thumping, raised its arms in the air, grunted, and walked away. The trio quickly exited the campground, spending the rest of the night in a parking lot several miles away. This was not reported to the BFRO. It's a big, strange world out there. Next week, in the conclusion, his favorite, the creepy factor. The FBI declassifies a minor Bigfoot file, but we've already covered that, so that's not exactly news. What do you think, Chris?
It's a lot of interesting information.
It is.
They did, point out, like you were saying there, facts. But I mean, where has it taken us? Is my question.
Just more anecdotal stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's all we ever seem to get with Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm hopeful, and I do have a belief. I'm just so it's so hard to be fully 100% convinced.
It is, but it's also very hard to be 100% unconvinced.
Right, correct.
So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I mean, there's clearly never going to be a definitive answer. You'd have to pave all of North America, cut down every tree, and explore every crack simultaneously to be able to prove that there's no Bigfoot there. No one wants that.
Yeah. I agree.
Moving on to Squatchable for the remainder of the show. We have a eyewitness account logged from the BFRO database. So it starts with, okay, last night he went home from Walmart in Spanaway, Washington, turned left onto 8th Avenue East, which goes from Spanaway Highway 7, which is Pacific Avenue. It is a long, dark, two-lane country road that bisects a huge prairie with lots of old-growth woodlands bordering it. He drives home the back way again, hoping to pinpoint the exact location, but there is no mile markers nearby, and the best I can do is approximately 4 to 5 miles out from town. The road is largely flat and straight, but there are a few rises as you drive. The place was about 300 to 400 feet from the second place where there is a rise at the road. I know this because I could see the creature with a hill in the background and some trees when we drove up through there tonight. There was no place else that fit those two things. First off, it was very dark and oddly devoid of cars, as there is usually someone flashing their lights at me as my car has a headlight out and I have been driving with my brights on until payday to get it fixed. I think that if I had not had my brights on, I would never have seen the creature. At any rate, suddenly I saw the Patterson film in real life, at about 400 feet down the road, saw a picture that could have come straight out of Harry and the Hendersons. But in behaviour, it was nearly identical to the Patterson film. It strided across the road in 3 to 4 strides, and in many ways was off to the right again when it stopped mid-stride and looked back at me exactly like the Patterson film. But this thing looked huge even from the distance I saw it. When you see something that does not fit into the ordinary part of what you perceive as your reality, your brain tries to pigeonhole the data into one file after another. Click, 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 and suddenly you come up with does not compute. At first I thought it was a smudge on my windshield, but it was moving right along, just like the Patterson film. It's weird how that affects you. I could really see how someone could keep this to themselves for their entire lives. However, when I shared this story, I go, oh yeah, this happened and that happened to my cousin, my brother, my dad, and even a couple of personal stories from people who grew up here. I was always willing to give it an open mind, but the lack of physical evidence sort of left me wondering if I had to be honest. Now I know where we share our woods with one big sumbitch, and you better be paying attention when you are cooking up at that bacon at 8 p.m. in the woods around here, because I think he's got that big eating dandelion greens. My impression, one huge Chewbacca, Harry and the Hendersons kind of guy, at least 2.5 to 3 feet thick, through the chest from the back to the front. If I had to estimate, this would be tall even by a Sasquatch at 9 to 12 feet. Like I said, it was quite a ways up the road, but I had time to see it, evaluate and question it and look again. And then again after that as it looked to the right at me coming down the road, so it was pretty firm sighting, even if I still am questioning myself the next day. That's my experience, and I'm sure I never expected to be posting this. If anyone knows who that gentleman is, could they please get them a dictionary for Christmas?
So we saw basically the Patterson Gimlin film
Cross the road,
on a
yes.
road. I mean, if the Patterson Gimlin film is legitimate, which I mean, I tend to think that it is, then I mean that would show some type of similar behavior. If that's the case,
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's all speculation. We're just taking a story, and it's a very interesting story.
It is. I'll get behind it. Why not? I've got no evidence saying it's false. So
Take up a cause.
Take of a cause, exactly. Okay, so our next story is also from Squatchable. It is 27 seconds of sounds from the forest, which apparently contains a weird noise. Full disclosure, I couldn't hear a weird noise. But it's 27 seconds long. The link is in the description of this video. All the links are in the description of this video. It's only 27 seconds. Give it a listen and let me know if you heard something in the comments, because as I said, I didn't hear anything unusual.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything either. I caught like maybe some breaking branches or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear any like call.
No.
So.
Yep. So there's that. Moving on to our next one from Squatchable. A brief news report about another Bigfoot conference on July 27th at the Gatlinburg Center. It's the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference, East Tennessee. All the usual players will be there: Cliff Baracknum, Jeff Meldrum. Tickets are going on sale now, and you can go just type in Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference to Google, take you to the main site. And it's just going to be the usual as far as I could tell. I've read the blurb, and it just looks like a bog standard Bigfoot conference.
Go have fun, mingle,
yeah. Phil says it's a good place to network. I believe that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, if you've always wanted to meet up with your Bigfoot pals, that's probably the place to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, head on over. It's July 27th, Kallenberg Center, and it is the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference. Right, for our final story today, we have a video from Squatchable, Woods of Riddle's Sasquatch. It's a first-person cam shot walking through the forest. It's a young lady. She's talking about her experience in the woods. It's about 2 minutes long. It's very nice. I found it relaxing. I mean,
There's some nice wooded scenery.
yeah. It's
But
what I used to
yeah,
like Timber Giant Bigfoot's videos, that sort of first person view, people
yeah.
walking through the woods just talking along. It's very nice.
Try to put something like that together for you, Richard.
Do it on mushrooms. That'd be
Yeah,
so great.
that'd be interesting. Yeah, and I watched the video. I mean, again, it's a story. It's somebody's story. And I don't want to, just discredit somebody's story, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I do apologize. I've had the devil's own job of getting news stories this week. This whole EU thing is clamping down, and I pretty much just had to get everything from Squatchable because everything else was just Error 401 and available in your country.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really scary, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But,
Well, good luck on that front.
yes, thank you. Cheers for that.
You're welcome.
And yeah, so that'll wrap us up for this week. As I said, I'm taking a break from my cartoons next week. And we'll return the week after. Chris, what you got coming up on the 40 Slip Tour tonight?
I am not sure. I was working on an interview or a guest. I don't know if that's going to pan out. I don't know what's going on right at the moment. But I'll put something together probably tomorrow. I'll either know if I'm going to have a guest or if I'm going to have to do some research on something.
Right on.
Yeah, who knows?
Whether that's to the 40
Oh, yeah, and anybody who wants to sign up to be the producer, send it to the 40andslip@gmail.com. Your video where you just introduce yourself and show us a talent. Have that.
Yeah, or don't. Whatever makes you guys happy. And if you've had a paranormal or Bigfoot experience, Matt Knapp still wants to hear from you at bigfootcrossroads@gmail.com. And I think that's it. That's all the shameless plugging, isn't it?
I think so.
Awesome. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. Good night.